The hallowed halls of Columbia University's Butler Library, usually a sanctuary for quiet study, became a scene of chaos and confrontation on May 7, 2025. Over 100 masked protesters stormed the library, disrupting students preparing for final exams. This dramatic escalation of campus tensions has ignited a firestorm of debate about free speech, anti-Semitism, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This incident is the latest in a series of escalating protests at Columbia, a microcosm of the broader national conversation surrounding these complex issues. The university finds itself caught in the crossfire, facing accusations of stifling free speech, while also being tasked with ensuring the safety and well-being of its students. The events of May 7th have left many wondering, is this a justified act of protest or a dangerous infringement on the rights of others? And what do these events say about the state of discourse on campus and in our nation as a whole? At the heart of the Butler Library protest lies a potent mix of long-simmering grievances and immediate concerns. The protest, organized by a group called Columbia University Apartheid Divest, or CUAD, centers around the demand for the university to divest from companies that do business with Israel. CUAD, along with other pro-Palestinian student groups, accuse Israel of human rights violations and apartheid-like policies against Palestinians. They argue that Columbia, by investing in companies that profit from these alleged abuses, is complicit in this injustice. Adding fuel to the fire is the recent arrest of Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia graduate and prominent voice in the pro-Palestinian movement. Khalil is facing deportation proceedings, with Immigration and Customs Enforcement seeking to revoke his green card and student visa. Protesters see Khalil's case as an attempt to silence dissent and criminalize activism. They are demanding his immediate release and for all charges against him to be dropped. The protest unfolded with a swiftness and intensity that shocked many. Shortly after midday, a large group of masked protesters, many dressed in black and carrying Palestinian flags, surged into Butler Library. Their chants of Free Palestine and From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free, echoed through the usually tranquil study spaces. The protesters quickly fanned out across the library's various floors, disrupting students who were trying to study for upcoming exams. Some climbed onto tables and desks, delivering impassioned speeches about the plight of the Palestinian people and denouncing Columbia's investments. As tensions escalated, some protesters clashed with students who objected to the disruption. Security personnel, initially caught off guard, struggled to contain the situation. The protesters declared the library a liberated zone and renamed it Basel Al-Araj Popular University, after a Palestinian activist killed by Israeli forces in 2017. The protesters who stormed Butler Library represent a diverse cross-section of the Columbia University community, united by their shared anger over the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and what they perceive as the university's complicity in it. While CUAD, a student-led organization focused on divestment, claimed responsibility for organizing the protest, it attracted support from a broader coalition of student groups, including those advocating for social justice, racial equality, and immigrant rights. For many of the protesters, this demonstration was deeply personal. Some have family ties to Palestine and feel a direct connection to the ongoing conflict. Others, while not directly impacted, see this as a moral issue and feel compelled to stand up against what they believe to be injustice. The protest also attracted a smaller contingent of individuals who appeared to be more focused on causing disruption than engaging in meaningful dialogue. Their presence, while condemned by many within the protest itself, further complicated the situation and fueled the narrative of student protesters as unruly and disrespectful. Section 5. The authorities respond: arrests, lockdowns, and condemnation. The protest at Butler Library triggered a swift and forceful response from law enforcement and university officials. As the situation escalated, Columbia University's Public Safety Department called in the New York Police Department for assistance. The arrival of the NYPD, clad in riot gear, heightened tensions within the library. Police officers, following a standoff with protesters, moved in to clear the building, making numerous arrests. Over 80 students were taken into custody, charged with various offenses, including trespassing, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. In the aftermath of the protest, Columbia University implemented a lockdown, with security checkpoints established at all entrances to campus buildings. Students and faculty were required to show identification before being granted entry. Columbia University's administration, led by Acting President Claire Shipman, issued a statement strongly condemning the protest. Shipman cited safety concerns, disruptions to academic activities, and damage to university property as justifications for the university's response. Section 6. ICE casts a shadow monitoring protests and visa consequences. Adding another layer of complexity to the aftermath of the Butler Library protest is the involvement of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The agency confirmed that it is monitoring the situation, raising concerns about the potential targeting of international students who participated in the demonstration. ICE agents were reportedly present at the scene of the protest, photographing and videotaping participants. The agency also requested access to the names and immigration statuses of those arrested, raising fears that some students could face deportation for their involvement in the protest. The State Department, under the direction of Secretary of State Marco Rubio, issued a stern warning to foreign students studying in the United States, reminding them that engaging in illegal activities or supporting terrorism could jeopardize their visa status and lead to deportation. The potential consequences for international students involved in the protest have sparked outrage among student groups and free speech advocates who accuse the government of using fear and intimidation tactics to stifle dissent and silence criticism of Israel. Section 7. Columbia University grapples with unrest, a campus divided. The protest at Butler Library has exposed deep divisions within the Columbia University community, sparking a heated debate about the boundaries of free speech, the role of activism on campus, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In the aftermath of the protest, the university finds itself caught between competing demands. Some students and faculty members have criticized the administration's response as heavy-handed, arguing that the university prioritized protecting property over safeguarding students' right to protest. Others have expressed support for the university's actions, arguing that the protest crossed a line by disrupting academic activities, intimidating other students, and causing damage to university property. They argue that freedom of speech does not grant individuals the right to infringe upon the rights of others. The Butler Library protest is the latest in a series of incidents at Columbia University that have thrust the institution into the national spotlight. The university has faced accusations of fostering a hostile environment for Jewish students, with some citing instances of anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination. Section 8. Echoes of a larger conflict: anti-Semitism, free speech, and political fallout. The protest at Columbia University's Butler Library reverberates far beyond the ivy-covered walls of the campus, exposing the raw nerves of a nation grappling with deeply polarized views on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, anti-Semitism, and the limits of free speech. The incident has drawn sharp condemnation from some Jewish groups, who view the protesters' actions as anti-Semitic and intended to intimidate and silence Jewish students on campus. They point to the protesters' chants, some of which have been used in the past to incite violence against Jews, as evidence of their true intentions. Others, however, argue that criticism of Israel and its policies is not inherently anti-Semitic, and that conflating the two stifles legitimate debate about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. They maintain that the protesters' actions, while disruptive, were motivated by a desire to raise awareness about a human rights issue they deeply care about. The protest has also become a political football, with politicians from both sides of the aisle weighing in. Conservative lawmakers have seized on the incident as evidence of what they see as a growing tide of anti-Semitism on college campuses, while their liberal counterparts have expressed concern about the chilling effect the incident could have on free speech and activism. The events at Columbia University serve as a stark reminder of the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the challenges of fostering respectful dialogue and understanding in an increasingly polarized world.